I call her Ma.
Ma.
Everyone called her Ma.
Everyone called her
So
Ma.
all of her
Derek Scott grew up in poverty, raised by his grandmother Nellie in rural Tennessee.
Did she tell people that she thought you were going to be a lawyer one day?
Yeah, she did.
She was proud of you.
Yes, very proud of me.
Yeah.
After his grandma died, Derek says his recreational use of painkillers snowballed into an addiction. It wasn't until a doctor prescribed a medication called buprenorphine that he says his life began to change.
Not only did it take all the cravings and sickness away, I really got a sense in my mind that I can do this now.
Buprenorphine is one of 3 medications approved by the FDA to treat opioid use disorder. It's a synthetic opioid that, when used as prescribed, doesn't result in a high and curbs withdrawal symptoms and cravings. Top health officials call it the gold standard.
Do we ask them when they come in?
Dr. Stephen Lloyd is head of Tennessee's Opioid Abatement Council.
If you're taking this, you've got 50 to 70% less chance of dying.
But he says these medications carry a stigma.
We're perfectly comfortable putting somebody on medication for the rest of their life because it decreases their chance of heart disease and stroke. Yet when you talk about doing the same thing for addiction, people have a huge problem with it.
While taking the medication, Derek went to college and law school. He passed the bar exam.
Honestly, I didn't think anything could stop me.
But then came the email. In his bar application, Derek had disclosed he'd been convicted of 3 misdemeanors, as well as accused of other criminal charges that would ultimately be expunged. Tennessee's Board of Law Examiners wanted a state program to evaluate him.
I was asked a series of questions related to mental health, and one of those questions was, are you currently prescribed any medication?
And you told them?
And I answered truthfully, and from there, that's when all the problems started with you.
Problems, even though the U.S. Justice Department has argued since 2018 that discrimination based on a person's use of medication in recovery violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. But Tennessee monitors were concerned Derek's medication could affect his ability to safely practice law. He underwent 2 evaluations. In both, specialists recommended he get off his medication and seek abstinence-only treatment.
No one knows better than me and my doctor what's best for me and my treatment. How are you going to tell me now that I have to do it your way when your way doesn't always work? My way has worked.
A state program gave Derek a stark choice: stop using buprenorphine or lose his dream of becoming a lawyer. The Tennessee Supreme Court, which oversees the state program, declined our interview requests.
It's just like someone trying to close the door shut on my career.
You don't think the buprenorphine that you've been on for years has affected your cognitive abilities?
Absolutely not.
The Justice Department has taken action in 10 states on cases similar to Derek's, some already resulting in settlements for people in recovery.
What does life look like now?
Derek ultimately reapplied for bar admission. At a hearing last December, the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners heard from his doctor and colleagues. After nearly 3 years of battle, Derek received his law license with no conditions. The Justice Department is now investigating his case. This January, his 2-year-old son watched Derek take his oath.
It was emotional that day. My grandma, knowing that she's watching over me. Yeah, it's a big deal. Here you go.
Now Derek wants to make his son proud and help people as a lawyer. Kate Snow, NBC News, Clarksville, Tennessee.